Hello friend, welcome back. From this video, we'll start our another journey. We'll create one complete professional advanced news portal website with using Laravel latest version Laravel 9, and we'll develop it from the scratch. In your previous section, I have already discussed about all that basic fundamental of Laravel. I hope you complete this part perfectly. So now we'll go more deep. From now, step by step, we'll complete one professional news portal project. I hope you like it very much. So if you're ready, then let's get started. So friend, for creating our project, as I told you, we'll create it from the scratch. So now, first of all, I want to create one of the Laravel project. So if you want to create one of the Laravel project, we have to go to that Laravel official website, that is a laravel.com. And from here, if you go to that documentation, and into the documentation here, you can see there is a latest version as a Laravel 9. And from here, right now, that is our getting started and installation. And here, there is a first command as your first Laravel project. So when you click it in here, it will be redirected to particular that page area, that is your first Laravel project. And here, if you want to install that Laravel project with using that composer, so that is the composer link. Make that sure you install that composer. In fundamental, I have already discussed about that things with you. There is a getcomposer.org, and here you can see there is a dependency, one of the manager that will be needed. And right now there is a latest version as a 2.4.3, and from here if you go to the download, and into the download you can see there is a download and run as a composer setup.exe file. I will recommend it simply click it on here. It will be downloaded one of the file as a composer setup. That is one of the exe files, simple process. When you click it, then next by next process, then that will be installed. And after that install, if you want to check it's successfully installed or not, you can also check it if you run your command prompt. And from to the command prompt, if you run with the composer and then V, that means composer version, if you click as enter, now you can see it will give you all that instructions. Right now I'm using that current version as a 2.2.7, which is totally fine. If you want to update it, you can update it. So right now I'm using that composer version 2.2.7, which is fine. And also another things will be needed, that is a Node.js. So from to the Node.js, you can see there is a download for the Windows. Right now that is the recommended for most user, and also that is a current version. So I will recommend it to simply click it on here. It will be also download one of the exe file and simply install it in your system. So that is very simple, one of the software. In fundamental, I have already discussed about that things with you. Simply download it and install it in your computer. So when you download and install it in your system, if you want to check it that Node.js is successfully installed or not, you can also check it, simply run on any one of the command prompt. And here if you check with the node, there is a node and then the V, that means node version. If you click as enter, right now you can see I'm using that 16.13.0. okay, which is fine. That means I have successfully installed that Node.js, and also I have successfully installed that composer. So make that sure you install both of these, because that will be needed. Okay, here I simply install both of these. Right now we don't need this. Now we have to install, that means we have to create one of the Laravel project. So if you want to create it, we have to create it by the composer and create project Laravel, and that will be your project name. Friend, for this project I will use that localhost in our local server. For the local server I am using that XAMPP. Simply install that XAMPP. It's very basic, one of the things, or you will get that is totally free, one of the software. Simply download it and install it in your system. So if you are using that WAMP, is totally fine, but right now I'm using that XAMPP version. So that is our XAMPP control panel, and 3.3.0 right now I am using. And here only you have to do, when you install that XAMPP, this will be display this type of one of the pop-up box, and here you have to run two things. You have to run that Apache and you have to run that MySQL. So I have already run both of these. Right now my Apache and MySQL is running. And when you install that XAMPP, you will get this type of one of the folder. If you go in your local drive, that means my C drive, here I have already installed it, and I just installed that by name as a localhost. By default it will be name it as a XAMPP, but right now I'm install it by the name as a localhost, and you can see there is a localhost. And into the localhost, that is one of the folder as a htdocs, and htdocs is your main root directory of your local server. Okay, so make that sure you install that XAMPP, and when you install it, you'll get this type of one of the folder as a htdocs. And for this project, I will use a Sublink text editor. If you want to use that VS Code editor, PHP Storm is totally fine. But right now for this project, I will use it as a sublink text editor, which will be very fine. So all that actually free software, you can install it down, simply download it from to the Google and install it in your system. Okay, so right now it's fine. So now I want to create one of the project. For creating this project better, I want to do in my local host, and that is the htdocs area. I want to create one of the new folder. Okay, here I want to create one of the new folder, and I just name it as a project 4. Okay, I name it as a project 4. This type of one of the folder I simply created, and you can see there is a project 4. And now in particular that area I want to create our new project. So if you want to create it here, I want to open with the CMD. Now click as enter. Now you can see that is our specific file location, that is our htdocs, and that is a folder name as a project 4. And now here I want to create one of the Laravel project. If you want to create it, I copy it. Okay, I copy the composer, I copy total things, and now I want to install it. So right now we don't need this. I want to close it, and here I want to paste it. Okay, so here I simply paste it as a composer create project Laravel. Now I want to install it in here. Okay, here I want to install it. So now I want to name another folder name, that means our project name, as a news. Okay, I name it as a news. Great. Now this type of one of the folder it should be created. Now if you click as a enter, now it will be downloaded all that file from to the internet. It will be created one of the folder here as a news. You can see it's now successfully created one of the folder. So friend, now it will be downloaded all that file from to the internet, and it may take little time. And make that sure you are connected with the internet. It will be download all that file from to the internet. Okay, so it may take little time. Better when it will be done, then I will come back again. Here you can see friend, our Laravel project installed successfully. Okay, everything is just fine, and application key is set successfully, and here you can see that is our folder, and all that file it's now successfully downloaded from to the internet, and now that is all that our file. So now we have to change the directory. Okay, here I want to redirect it to our particular folder that I have already created as a news. And here if you want to redirect it to particular this folder, you have to write down as a cd, that means that change directory, and our folder name I name it as a news. Right now if you click as a enter, now you can see it's now return redirect to our another folder as a news that I have created. So that is actually our project name. And now from to this position I want to run it, and here if you run it, just simply I want to run as a PHP artisan and then serve. When you run as a PHP artisan serve, our project will be running. Rather than you can also directly access it from here. Like right now, first of all you have to go particular this folder, and from here if you write down again as a CMD, now you can see that is our appropriate file location. Right now I want to run it from here. Simply PHP artisan serve. When you run it, click as a enter. Now it will be give you one of the development server link. You can see that is our development server link. I want to copy it, and now if you go our project, that means in our browser, and here I want to paste it. Okay, here that will be the http, and if you click as enter, and you can see our Laravel is installed successfully. Right now we are using as a Laravel 9.3.5, and PHP version right now I am using as 8.1.2. When you install that XAMPP, and after that if you simply write down as a localhost, automatically it will be give you this type of one of the page. And from here if you go to that PHP my info, right now you can see friend I am using that PHP version 8.1.2. So if you are using Laravel 9, here you have to update this version. That means you have to update your PHP version minimum 8.1. So right now I'm using that 8.1.2. Okay, make that sure you updated your PHP version. So right now I'm using it, which is totally fine, and that is my localhost. XAMPP is also successfully running. I have already running both of these as the Apache and MySQL. Great. And now I want to take our project. So that is our project. I want to take it in my sublink text editor. Here that is a sublink text editor. I simply take it. Great. Now that is all that our file. Right here in fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you in our app, and that is our HTTP, that is a by default one of the controller, and that is a by default all that file. Okay, now all that our controller will create in particular that area, all that our model will create in particular that area by default, that is one of the model as a user model, and all that our migrations table will create it in our database area. Right, so that is by default some of the database is automatically created, and all that our view file will create it in our resources, and view file area here will create it, and that is our all the route will create in our web. Okay, here we'll create it. So that is all that basic file. I am in fundamental, I have already discussed about that things with you. So right now, that is all that our project is structured. Okay, so that is our file. We successfully installed that Laravel, and our Laravel project is now running successfully. So now friend, in our next video, I want to create one of the database, because for the backend we'll need one of the database, right? So here for the database we'll use that MySQL. So I will create one of the database. I will configure this database with our Laravel project. So how to do this work in our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.